Hello and welcome to the much awaited Late Night Women Today podcast, where Christy and I explore some of the issues that maybe we've talked about during the afternoon, but maybe take them a little bit further because it is a later night podcast. So I should say at this point, if you are of a nervous disposition, there may be some content here which may not be appropriate for you.
Nervous? Are we going to terrify them, Beth?
No, we're not going to terrify them, but you know.
Are you going to swear?
No, I'm not going to swear.
Are you going to say rude
Do you think I'll be allowed to
words?
swear?
Well, I suppose it was after the watershed. Mm-hmm. Bottom.
But it depends, though, doesn't it, when people download it? You can't make them download it after the watershed. But anyway, this conversation, Christy, has come about because of a chat we had during one of our Women's Day programmes regarding a Cypriot model.
It has.
Now, just to remind people, this model accidentally dyed her eyebrows black. I'm still, a little bit stunned as to how you can even do that. But still, instead of getting rid of them, she has embraced the big bushy monobrow look and has in fact called her unibrow Veronica, I think, if I'm right in remembering. And it's really just to, she says, end the stigma associated with female body hair. And I kind of get it. I think it certainly makes a statement.
It does make a statement. I would be more impressed with her if she also, as she gets older, lets her chin hair and her moustache grow out and doesn't razor that off or wax that off or get rid of that. And I would be interested to know, I don't know, does she also shave her pits?
Oh,
does she?
See,
how tidy is she underneath? We're allowed to say that because it's a late night podcast.
We can. But that's the thing, isn't it? You are brought up as women. I think you are conditioned, certainly on this side of the world. I mean, it's kind of okay to be a little bit hairier if you live in the Mediterranean, but certainly on this side of the world, you are expected to keep yourself tidy.
You are, to be fair. And do you know what? I had this very conversation with my friend Elise, who's considerably wiser than I am. We were at the Latitude Festival last year. And we were walking along and we had shorts on and things. And we were just talking about the fact that, you have to shave your legs. And she was saying, well, you don't really have to, do you, Christy? And I said, no, you're going to get into this big argument now. I said, I want to shave my legs for myself because I like the fact that they're smooth and I don't like the way they look when they're hairy. And she said, yes, but you don't like the way they look because you're told not to like. And we carried on backwards and forwards. And I was saying, no, I feel it inside me. I don't want to have hairy legs. And she said, yes, but it goes right back to the first media pushing this idea that you're supposed to be hairless, essentially. But I say hairless.
I don't get that one.
No, as we said, the underneath bits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not sure about hairless there.
No, but
No.
I mean, some people do, and good luck to you. But no. Just no. Interesting, if you think about legs, Stacey Solomon in, I think it was December last year, didn't shave her legs for a month and she posted the photographs of it. Now, as one of my friends at the school gate said to me, actually, I couldn't even notice if that was her. You'd need to sort of get a gardener in.
Comb them.
But, but it's a big thing. I mean, this made headlines because, woman doesn't shave her legs.
Right. When you looked at the picture of her with her hairy legs, what was your immediate reaction in the pit of your stomach?
I wouldn't do that.
There you go.
Well, I say, no, I lie. I wouldn't do that and take a photograph of it. I don't think there's anything wrong with not being summer ready as long as no one's going to see it.
No one sees it. There you go. And this is the problem, is that it's going to take an awful lot of decades of new generations of people to be comfortable with just allowing their body hair to grow. But you know what then? I would also bring it back to any sort of appearance changes that you make in order to make yourself what you feel is looking more representable and presentable, that's the word, because actually anything you do to make yourself feel more comfortable before you go out and present yourself to people is relevant to that as well, isn't it?
I suppose it is. I don't think, I suppose if you're talking about being au naturel, for me, mascara,
that would just be like roll out of bed, maybe spray on a bit of deo.
Oh, that'd be amazing, though. I would love to be able to do that. I genuinely would.
I dare you to.
No.
It's only the media.
No.
They're telling you to comb your hair and wash your face.
But is it just the media, or is it the fact that as women, you should, in inverted commas, be less hairy than men? And that is kind of what makes you feminine. And therefore, if you are a sort of a hairier person. I mean, do you know, at school, I shaved my arms. I didn't need to, but somebody else, one of my friends did it. And I was like, oh, no, I shouldn't have any hair on my arms either. So start shaving. Really? What was I thinking?
Well, then as well, of course, you've got to consider all the different types of person, because as with men as well, there are plenty of women who aren't particularly hairy, who can't really see the hair. Like, I'm quite fortunate in that, being ginger, my hair is very, very fair, so quite often you can't see it, even though if you look in certain lights, my arms are gorilla-like hairy, and I don't shave them, so there you go. But I get away with it. There are women in different cultures or from different backgrounds, from different parts of the world, that are naturally very hairy. And I do wonder if we're saying, oh, just let it go, those women might really struggle, because, there are women who naturally, because of where they're from, their race or their background, have quite considerable facial hair. And would you particularly want to sort of, in the Western society, we are conditioned into thinking that's wrong. How long is it going to take? And that's the thing, is it's crossing all those cultures as well. And that's where it gets really, really tricky, because if you want to let everyone do what they want to do, it means we've got to be a lot more accepting as well.
The only way you could do that, isn't it, is if from birth your children were accustomed to you having like a full beard, having one of those fake beards, and everybody came into contact with, children came into contact with, teachers just all wore a fake beard, and then it'd be okay.
Yeah. It sounds like it's an easy thing. It sounds like, oh, we should just let everyone do what they want to do. Unfortunately, we judge each other, and as much as we want to be able to say, stop judging, respect anyone for what they want to do and however they want to look. I had a friend who looked at that picture and posted on that picture of that model with the eyebrow, the monobrow, and said, let people do what they want to do. That's lovely, and I get it, but we don't. We just don't.
Do you know, one of my other friends said she told her husband what she was doing that afternoon, because he said, oh, what are you up to? She said, oh, I'm going for a wax. He was like, oh, it's all right for some. She's like, do you think I enjoy this? Do you think this is what I do for pleasure? Yeah. Anyway, on the show, I was talking about the monobrow that Max had for his Mrs. Twit costume. I found it. Look, I was wondering,
horrible.
But it's a little bit more like my colour than the pencil that I drew it on with during the show.
Is that what you look like when you don't sort your face out?
It is, yeah. It is. And this is what I look like if I don't sort out my tash. And this is what I look like if I don't sort out my beard.
And?
That's it.
Is that it? Is that as far as you're going?
As far as it
is a podcast.
I could put it under my arm. I could, but yeah. Anyway.
The other thing, waxing, like you said, ridiculously painful. I personally can't do it. I did try once a home wax kit. Oh my goodness.
Or an epilator. Have you ever tried an epilator?
Oh, ouch. And the thing is, of course, with those as well, you've got to leave it for ages. And so you end up getting really hairy anyway. But then if you use razors, first of all, you could potentially damage yourself. And secondly, you get stubble, don't you?
Oh, it's a nightmare. And yet it's even more of a nightmare when you have to go for a medical appointment, as another one of my friends had to do this week. And I got I'm not ready at all for this. And I completely forgot to text message. And then it's like, what? I don't know, where do you stop? Do you either just leave it and just say, this is, you've seen it all before, I'm sure, or do you try and sort of tame everything and then think, have I gone too far? It's a dilemma.
It is, but it all comes down to, again, who you're doing it for. Are you doing it to make yourself feel comfortable or to make the medical person feel comfortable? And again, with any of this, who are we doing it for? Do we make ourselves, our bits, our faces or whatever tidier for us? Or do we do it for our partners? Or do we do it for the rest of the world?
I don't know, but I'm going to rock this monobrow and then it'll just not be an issue for me. I'll never have to tweeze again. What do you reckon?
Shall I say you're rocking it? Do you want me to agree?
Yeah, do that.
Beautiful, Beth.
Thank you very much for listening to the Late Night Women Today podcast. More intriguing subjects to follow.